Hi, welcome everyone. This is Mikereative Cast. I am Mike.
I'm Avi.
And I'm Vincent.
And we're here just to discuss some shit on creative arts, film, TV, video games, what else? Random shit.
Random shit.
Yeah, we're a media group that focuses on looking at the creative arts of, as I stated before, TV, film, video games, anime, different things that we are interested in that we wanted to just have a chat, have a discussion. So let us know down in the comments below if what do you like? What do you focus your day to day on? Do you watch TV shows, movies? Do you do everything? Because we have some people who are just straight up gamers where they just play Fortnite all day long, and then there's people who just watch anime all day long. That's somewhat me sometimes, and yeah. So
This guy.
Naruto.
For the people listening on audio only, Javi was pointing to himself.
Yeah. I looked at him.
So actually, Comic-Con was last week, and I just wanted to bring this up real quick, that they launched like a good amount of trailers. And so have you guys seen any of the trailers? Have you guys seen?
I watched a few of the trailers. I watched...
what was the most notable one that you had seen?
I think Shazam was pretty
I've seen that one.
pretty fun. I liked it just because I feel like it's going to take a turn for like the Marvel side to where it's going to bring people into like that comedy for family style movie.
Right. It's almost like Guardians, what Guardians did to Marvel.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
they brought in like the jokey kind of side. And
Yeah, so I think it'll be more
Family friendly.
more family friendly, and it's going to bring in a bigger crowd to kind of build up that whole Justice League.
Did you hear about DC's new subscription site thing that they have?
No.
So they actually have this DC Universe, like kind of like Netflix,
Yeah.
right? Where it's like $8 a month or whatever, and anything DC that's been released through their animation, through their actual movies, whatever it is, and the new shit that's coming, like Titans, is actually going to be DC exclusive. Young Justice is going to be DC exclusive, so you actually have to subscribe in order to watch those
Like
shows.
a streaming
So
service.
It's a
that?
streaming
Yeah, so
service.
it's like a Netflix, only it's just going to have DC content.
So
Yeah.
are they going to be strictly to that? Like that's the only thing that they're going to contract out to? Or they
Well,
not gonna really have
that was their. You know how they were obviously failing in their movies
Yeah.
and crap. So that was their kind of like, hey, we're kind of dumping everything. They didn't really literally say they're dumping everything, but they're saying we're kind to reform or evolve from what we have been doing, and we're going to open it up to more avenues of media. And that was their streaming service. That was their idea of making this kind of streaming service.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they even had an article where the who's playing Joker?
Jared Leto,
yeah.
or the
new one, Joaquin Phoenix, is playing.
Joaquin, are you serious?
Is playing
Oh, wow.
Joker.
I
Wow.
didn't
And he's
know that
he's
yet.
like a young Joker in the movie, or you can comment down below if I'm wrong. He's a young Joker, and they're actually doing a new Batman. It's not going to be Ben Affleck.
Really?
It's going to be a different Batman.
I know
And so
I know
that's
they
what
were
they're
moving
trying
on
to
from-
do. Is they're trying to
Yeah.
move on from what the Schneider DC, right? And they're trying to just make their own. They're bringing in new writers. They're bringing in new directors and
To that, well, my question to that is, what? So are they going to keep? Are they going to keep any of the older cast? Like, are they going to keep like Aquaman? Like, what's the point of putting out Aquaman
I
if
don't
they're
know.
just going to
Yeah.
trash it and start it over
know.
again?
I don't know, and maybe that's how they're going to expand. Is some people were even thinking about different universes, like the multiverse, right? Because there's 52 or whatever it is. Like there's 52 Earths or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So maybe they were thinking that like, okay, well, we're going to do a new set of movies, and it's going to be on Earth 4, Earth, whatever.
Yeah.
And so it'll be different actors, different things. And so it's like, yeah, we could still do those like Ben Affleck and Henry
Cavill.
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 I'm not sure.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah. I like
That
that
sounds
one.
fancy.
That sounds fancy.
Yeah, Cavill.
They're still going to have that, but I think that's just going to... They're going to be able to separate and expand that, and maybe even have like a connection where eventually, like the Flash from like Ezra Miller Flash goes in and goes to a different alternate universe based on how fast he goes, and then he expands to the other side or whatever it is, right?
yeah.
And then he's
Yeah,
able to bring people across,
like
or
finds
whatever.
like a new Barry Allen type.
Yeah.
thing,
Kind of what they do with the animated series, and
yeah.
whatnot,
Right.
or even the comic books, essentially.
See, I was super excited initially when DCU came out, when Christopher Nolan came out with all of his Dark Knight, this whole Dark Knight series. I thought that's the route that I was going to go to.
Yes.
And then Superman seemed dark, but it felt flat. So I think if Christopher Nolan...
It did, but he was the producer still on that.
He was the
producer on that. He stopped doing that after the Superman movie. He was, correct me if I'm wrong, but he was, I thought he was the producer of that first Superman one, and at least that one was somewhat good.
Yeah.
It was way better than Batman Superman. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Oh yeah. That whole trilogy was pretty memorable as far as.
Oh, you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about Superman of Steel was better than Batman Superman.
I mean, it
was cool
Man
to
of
see.
Steel was better than Batman Superman.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like Ben Affleck as Batman was actually not bad.
Yeah, I kind of
he wasn't.
He did a great
job.
job.
Affleck, yeah.
He had some weird one-liner jokes that didn't need to be there.
But I mean, that could have been the writers just putting that in there so that way they can get those, one-liners and stuff like that, and the comedic relief. But I think if they would have just continued downward, Christopher Nolan was really kind of the head of it, and just going down that route to where it was a dark and serious tone, I think it would have been a lot of fun. I think it would have been interesting to see Superman in that way. And we got a glimpse of it in Man of Steel, but it didn't kind of carry forward that. And then you had, what was the movie that came out with Deadshot and
Suicide Squad?
Suicide Squad. And then it just kind of took a turn for the weird, and then I don't know what happened after that. So Wonder Woman was great, though. I thought Wonder Woman was really good. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how it kind of comes forward and moves on from this point, especially if they're trying to just...
I hope with the success of Wonder Woman that it actually pushes DC to expand on the directors, right? Because that was I think her name was Patty. I forget her last name, but that was a female director shooting that Wonder Woman movie, and it was great. Everyone was worried at first, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know if she's going to do a good job and everything." But no, it's that was a great movie, and it actually felt. I mean, the villain looked horrible, but it was a good movie. Yeah, all in all, it was this actual the beats were good, right? The story flowed really well, and
flewed. It flewed really well. No, but you thought it was going to be promising with when Wonder Woman came out. It's oh, okay, they're actually kind of putting, and then Justice League came out, and it's just what are you guys doing now? That was the thing.
Patty Jenkins, that was her name. Patty Jenkins.
Jenkins.
Oh, okay.
So, because I didn't watch it in theaters, I didn't give it that shot because I think I heard reviews of it. I was all right, I'll watch it at home, and I watched it, and I was just
it was. I liked it.
Yeah, it's just I didn't care. I felt like it just was so rushed in what they were trying to do, and
Justice League.
Yeah, Justice League
by far.
It just felt like at the end of it, they were just throwing something out there because they had run out of time. They had promoted everything, and it was they had a reshoot and all that. That was documented that they had a reshoot. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see.
What I like about Justice League is how you can actually tell who's directing in the scene, right? You could tell when it's Joss Whedon, and you can tell when it's the other director, whoever that was.
I didn't catch that. I just knew that there was some parts where the CGI was just terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. That intro scene with
Aquaman.
Did you know what it was about? There was something about he was shooting a movie. Henry Cavill was shooting a movie, and
Mission Impossible.
Was it Mission Impossible? Okay, so he was shooting a movie, and he had to have this beard. It was part of his character, and then
mustache. Yeah,
or a mustache.
Yep. He had a mustache,
and he couldn't shave it. It was part of his character,
and his contract. He could not shave his Mission Impossible mustache. It was part of the contract. And so when they finished reshoots,
they had to go back and refilm that intro piece. He still had it. They couldn't get rid of it, so they had to CGI it out. Is that CGI?
Yeah. No, that works.
And so that's why it looks super weird. But I feel like they paid like the cheapest company to do it because I mean, out of all the CGI in that movie, like they couldn't edit out a mustache.
But imagine
well, he ended up looking like Shrek. That was the problem. He had like this big ass fucking chin. You know, he looked like the pompous asshole from Shrek 2, the one that like looks like Prince or supposed to be Prince
Lord
Charming.
Farquaad?
No, the other one. The blonde haired one. That one's like supposed to be like.
Right? Yes, yeah.
That's what he looked like. So I saw the Venom trailer. That was pretty.
Oh, with Brady. Is it what's his name? The actor.
Hardy.
Yeah, Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, Tom Hardy. Not the same.
No.
Not the same.
Yeah.
Did he do any acting?
Brady?
Did Tom Brady do any acting?
I don't think.
He was probably in commercials.
He'll venture out that way. Yeah. Come to LA.
No, but that movie's looking pretty good.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, that one looks really. I mean, with Tom Hardy, I think he did actually really good as Bane. I know he gets made fun of a lot, but I really think.
No, I love Bane.
I think he did great as Bane.
I mean, the voice was really like when I first heard it, it took me out of the movie. Like I know we were talking about recently when you were watching one of the movies that certain scenes or certain things that would happen would take you out of the movie. Mm-hmm. You weren't like in there. Right. That was that for me. Like when
that
I
was
first
when
heard
we were
his
discussing
voice,
Justice League. Yeah.
Yeah, when I first heard the voice, I was just like, wait. What is this? What's going on? Like I get that they probably changed his origin. He's no longer a wrestler from Spain, I think.
Right.
So yeah, that totally like messed it up for me. But then I kind of came around and I was like, all right, I kind of like it.
But if you see the casting, you don't have to question that casting because it's Tom Hardy. You know what's coming with Tom Hardy. He's going to be a great actor. Like when Ben Affleck was Batman, I was like, Ben Affleck's Batman. Like everyone freaked out because they didn't know if it was going to be good or not. Like people were skeptical about it. Yeah. But I feel like with Tom Hardy and bringing him in as Venom, it's just going to he's going to really come into that character and really do a great job in that. Because you're getting a great actor from it.
I like Tom Hardy. I think he does really well.
He does. He has bug eyes, but that's,
He has what?
Bug eyes.
Bug eyes? Does he really?
When you watch
Women love that guy.
When you watch him do his...
And you're destroying their dreams right now.
I'm totally ruining every movie.
Like, God.
Every movie that Tom Hardy's going to be in, now you're going to watch it and be like, oh, he does do that with his eyes. He does do the bug eyes thing where he makes his eyes a lot bigger whenever he's like acting. You'll see. You will see. You're going to watch it and be like, fuck, this movie's...
It's like ruined it forever.
Sorry.
We're going to get hate email from a bunch of different women.
How dare you?
By the way, our eyes... I'm just kidding, not our edges.
Yeah. Any other trailers that you guys saw that got released during Comic-Con?
What other trailers were there? There was that one.
There was Shazam.
I seen the Shazam one. I also seen the Tom Hardy and the Venom one. That one was really cool. That one looked exciting. It looked like it had a different test. It had like a different tone though than the other Marvel movies.
Which one?
The Venom one. It looked more serious. It didn't look like comedic or anything like that. Like
no. But it's put on by Sony, so it's not. True, it's not. It's not actually Marvel.
It's not,
studios.
Yeah, they're not really running. But I mean, didn't they give creative control to Marvel Studios with Deadpool, or did Sony really kind of just take creative control?
No, it's Fox. Deadpool's Fox.
That's right.
Yeah, they gave creative control for Spider-Man.
That's
to
the
be
one.
able to be in Avengers and have his own movie and stuff like that,
which is cool. But I mean, you can tell they're kind of going through like a serious tone, which is different from what we've seen in a lot of, if not the majority of the movies, all the way up until maybe like Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, to where that one actually took a serious tone. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this one's actually a really serious.
And there's speculation that the Venom movie is actually going to have some like continuity with Spider-Man. Ooh. Like Tom Holland's Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like they haven't confirmed it, and they're like, no, he's not going to be in it. Like they're saying no, but people are still like, I'm pretty sure they're going to have some little like cameo.
Yeah, they're coming out with two though.
Two what?
Two different Spider-Mans. I think they stated they're coming out with two Spider. We'll have to look it up, but I think I looked at a post or something like that. But there's two different Spider-Mans, and I heard that they're bringing back Andrew Garfield for Spider-Man.
Really?
What?
So they're bringing back Andrew Garfield, but
so they forgave him for his shit.
I guess. But I remember seeing a post saying like, "Oh yeah, they're bringing back Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man," and from the person who posted, they were livid and. I'm assuming that would be a lot of other people's mindset about it, just because. Who's the actor who did this past Homecoming? What's it? Is
Tom Holland?
Tom Holland.
Is it Tom Holland?
Yeah.
I don't know his name, but he did a really good job, and I feel like they actually kind of just. I think you were the one saying like they really just dove into the Marvel actual character of this kid who was funny and
like
it stayed more true to the comics.
Yeah, very quippy.
Yeah.
Very,
Yeah.
had like his little jokes and puns and whatnot, and you could tell he was just a kid trying to be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man,
Yeah.
And that's something I'm really excited for the new Spider-Man game that's coming out in September.
Oh, that's
is
right.
that Spider-Man is an older Spider-Man. He's already been Spider-Man for like 10 years, and is like, it's not like it's an origin video game.
Okay.
He's been Spider-Man for a while, and now it's just the town goes to shit, and he has to be there to pick up the pieces and stuff.
Got it.
That's really
super
cool,
excited.
though.
Yeah, that was at Comic-Con. They had actual
Gameplay.
gameplay, and then you can actually get in line and play the game. They had like a little demo for you and stuff.
Is that the same game that you were talking about getting from like
Yes.
a while ago?
Yes.
That same game?
Yes.
I remember playing one of the first like Spider-Man games on like PS, and then you would just web sling clouds and shit.
It was
like
probably
that.
Spider-Man 2,
Yeah.
because that is the best one. So
You're
far.
just like,
So
there
far.
is no buildings right here, but all of a sudden I'm going 60 feet in the air.
Yeah.
That was great.
Fantastic Beasts. That was a trailer that they released.
Oh, yeah,
they
that's
went
right. That one's cool.
dove a little bit further into that, and you actually got to see Nicholas Flamel, which is referenced in the very first Harry Potter, the Philosopher's Stone.
yeah.
The super old guy who has the elixir of life or whatever. He's able to like continue to bring like stay alive pretty much. He's like 666 when he dies or something like that.
Okay.
I'm excited to see Johnny Depp
Yeah.
take on that role.
Yeah. He got a haircut.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a nice little
He got a
haircut.
haircut.
Dye his hair a little bit.
He's hanging out with a chick with a skull, and the skull has glowing eyes. The CG looked really good. Like there was like an Oni kind of like Japanese style monster. I think they called it like a Bohemian, but it had like the teeth coming out and the fur everywhere, and that looked really good. The only thing I have a comment to say about the CGI is the fucking night cat looking things. They're black cats with these big eyes, but just it looked horrible. And if you guys have a chance to watch the trailer, watch it, because it was like
I know I watched some of
I
it.
saw that. Yeah.
I don't recall the big eyes. I mean, I don't recall that, but if you say so.
All I know is that when I watched it with him, and he did not look very pleased with the trailer.
yeah, I know. I was like, what is
That's all
that?
I'm saying. And
I mean,
I don't know very much about it. Obviously,
Yeah.
like I watched the first one and I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool.
I thought it was good.
I don't know any actual backstory on the actual book, or how like true to the book it was, or if this is all just new stuff.
This is all new stuff. This is J.K. Rowling making
it up,
a movie from a script. So instead of working on a book, she's actually just making a movie.
Oh wow!
So the
That's
Harry
awesome.
Potters like run 1 through 7.5.
Yeah.
Was actual books, right?
Yeah.
And then they made movies based on those books. Whereas this one is going to be 5 movies of Fantastic Beasts, is what it's going to be the name of. Probably, I don't really know. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald, and then 3 other ones. And they're actually her working on the scripts
Okay.
with the creative directors and all that stuff.
Do you think it'll eventually tie into the whole Harry Potter world?
Well, does it?
Oh, it totally does.
does, right?
It totally
Because they
does.
mention.
I know they mentioned like backstories and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but do you think-
because in this new one, Dumbledore's in it.
Dumbledore's in this movie.
Oh, that's true. Dumbledore is in this
So
one.
Jude Law plays Dumbledore, and that's young Dumbledore.
Jude Law plays Dumbledore?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So young Dumbledore, and then and then Grindelwald. That's like they have their whole backstory. You don't see it in the movie, but you read about it in the book. If you were to read the 7th book, spoilers. But yeah, so it's all prequel. So it's all like set in like the 1940s, I believe.
Yeah.
Or late 30s into the 40s. Grindelwald's time was during World War I or World War II, 45. So World War II,
Yeah.
right?
But it's still trying to do like a separate thing from Harry Potter, right? They're not trying to directly tie into that story, or do you think it eventually
I
leave
think
off
it does.
and
It's like
are they really going to kind of like put in Voldemort
because isn't the movie itself based off of like a book or a memoir in the Harry Potter series?
there's like a
Like the Fantastic Beasts, isn't it
did
part
you
of
say
like
it's
a
like a textbook? That's
It's
what
a
I
textbook
It's
or
a
a textbook?
textbook.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a textbook. In the first one, Newt Scamander, he's the one that actually wrote the textbook, and he mentions it when in the movie. He's like, "I'm working on a book of all these magical creatures," and ends up finishing the book, and that becomes a textbook of Hogwarts, where they actually, then they know about certain creatures like Nifflers and
Okay.
that rhino thing.
Yeah.
Rhino thing.
Yeah, the rhino thing that impregnates the tree.
Yeah, I mean that should be exciting.
Remember that scene?
Yeah.
I'm excited to see exactly what it kind of just molds into eventually down the line.
Yeah, and I just think for the big Harry Potter fans, it opens up those like possible avenues of the backstory of Dumbledore, because there's those things that we never knew about. Like when you read the seventh book, spoilers, there are
Like a sister.
there talks about the sister and how she died pretty much because of an argument that happened between Dumbledore, Grindelwald, and Dumbledore's brother. And so they're all there. They're fighting. Dumbledore's trying to break them up because they're the ones trying to fight each other. And she freaks out and like magically does something, and she ends up dying or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's never any detail
Yeah.
as to how it happens, or there's never any kind of flashback from Dumbledore because he's, spoilers, already dead by the seventh book. And so you don't ever know, and that was something that like there was all these theories of like what happened, and
So do you think this is really going to answer like a lot of those theories?
I think
on
it
what
is.
happened?
I
And
hope
she
it
hated
is.
Muggles. Wasn't it her?
Was it her who hated Muggles?
Well, that's what they say. The mom, Dumbledore's mom, hated Muggles.
Yeah, she
okay.
hated Muggles.
Yeah,
She hated those puny Muggles.
yeah, and they kept the daughter in like the cellar type of thing, and like hid her away from the wizarding world or whatever. So they are, to answer your question, they are trying to expand and call it the Wizarding World, so it's like separate from Harry Potter, but at the same time it's all in a continuum.
Yeah.
It's all along the same kind of timeline. So eventually, if like the stories were to keep going, we would just end up at Harry Potter. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So the two things I don't like,
Okay.
what I'm seeing right now with that trailer is one, Johnny Depp doesn't have a German accent.
Oh, he's supposed to have a German
He's
accent.
Grindelwald, so he's from Germany, or at least from that East European kind of area. So he has like a British accent, and you're like, I don't think he's British, bro.
Yeah.
You know. And then let's see. I know continuity issues and everything like that, but Dumbledore's already supposed to have like somewhat long hair,
And
but
he
it's supposed to be like ombre. You know, it's supposed to be like a brownish. It's not gone white yet. He has the beard, but it's supposed to be like a curly kind of thing. Like it's supposed to be kind of longer.
Do they
and
describe
everything.
that in like the?
They do.
books?
They do a little
Okay.
bit where like because in the sixth one they go back, like Harry and Dumbledore do the pensive thing where he goes and sees Voldemort, and the year that Crimes of Grindelwald is happening is the same year that Voldemort was born.
Yeah.
Oh okay.
So 11 years later, we're hoping that Jude Law actually has a beard and really long hair. You know what I mean? And it's all umber, and then eventually turns white type of thing. You know, he's turning
What's the
into-
timeline? Because I feel like he's
Yeah.
so much younger than he's supposed to be.
The Dumbledore timeline?
Yeah. Because like, what's the
he's
timeline?
Like, he's like 100 and something. He's like 150 or something like crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's really old.
Okay.
Magically, according to J.K. Rowling, the wizards live longer. They live longer because of magic kind of keeps them together or whatever. And then Nicholas Flamel just went off the crazy train because he was able to culminate the Philosopher's Stone and create the elixir of life, and he continually drinks it, and that's why he's 665.
Damn.
666, whatever it is.
Did they have a panel on?
They did.
They did.
They
How
did.
that go?
And Ezra Miller dressed up as Pink Toad. It was
Pink Toad?
hilarious.
Ezra
It was
Miller
so good.
as Pink Toad.
As Pink Toad.
Why?
The whole dress, I don't know, just being funky.
Okay. I mean, I like Ezra Miller. I don't know if I like him as a Flash, but I know I like Ezra Miller as an actor. I think he did great in other movies, but
He played the kid in the first one, right? The one that was like beaten, or it was he was supposedly beaten.
Yeah. No, he is. He was totally beaten. That was like she would take out her belt kind of thing, or make him take off his belt, and she'd beat him with his own belt. You know? He was the obscurial. He was the thing that turned into like the crazy black smoke.
He could
just kill people. That's right. You know.
Yeah.
But enough about that. Let's move on to video games. You guys playing video games? You guys playing anything?
I am not.
No
not
video games.
Currently, no.
Play games.
Okay, you guys can leave. I'm playing Octopath Traveler, which is actually on the Switch. It's a lot of fun. It's a story of 8 characters that all their kind of stories don't mesh together, but you get 4 chapters. So that's 32 chapters altogether in the whole game. But you bring along, and you weave through these like stories of all these 8 different characters, which is actually kind of cool. The best part of it is the combat, totally, for sure. The combat it's RPG based, so it's timed combat, and a lot of people are like, no, it's so boring now. We want an action RPG where you can just attack if you want, add magic, throw magic, and whatnot. But these guys change it up by having breakpoints, right? Where like the enemies themselves, let's say they have like a 2-level shield, and you have to find what they're vulnerable in, right? If they're vulnerable against the staff, then you have your staff character hit them twice, and it breaks their shield, and then they're down for 2 turns. And so you can just go ham on them, for 2 turns.
That's pretty cool.
You know what I mean? And so it kind of it adds this like level of strategy where you're like, okay, normally I would just be fucking launching fireballs at this person, but I'm actually going to make them vulnerable by hitting them with a dagger a couple times, and then I'm going to launch fireballs at them, And at the same time, it takes it another step up by building points. And the points that you get, you can actually boost your attack and make your attack stronger.
Okay.
Right? So if you get if you have 2 boost points, you can boost it twice, and you end up hitting 3 times.
Got it.
Kind of cool.
Sense. Yeah,
you know? And so there's that strategy again where you're like, okay, I'm going to save them all up, and you can save up to 5 and use up to 3 at one time.
Yeah.
And so you really have like this, like, okay, I'm going to save them all up on this boss, make him vulnerable, and then just do a super attack, Magic, it increases it however much times whatever. And then with the actual physical attacks, it does multiple hits. All right, so we are going to go to a quick little break here, and we'll be right back. So this second half of the Mikereative Cast is going to be like kind of like a news segment, things that we are seeing and from the creative arts and news. One of the news things that I actually picked up is off the Verge.com, and it's talking about the actual cast of Star Wars 9. Okay. And they're going to actually include Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill in that. So what do you guys think about that?
How do you include someone who no longer exists?
That is a great question, Vincent. The way you do that is by using footage.
Rest in peace, by the way, Carrie Fisher. Salute.
Yes, let's cheers to that one. How you do that is by using footage from
previous
The Last Jedi. They're actually using unreleased footage from The Last Jedi, and the writer. When Carrie Fisher passed away, the article goes into this, so you can look it up. The Verge, look up Star Wars cast, and the article goes into how the writer heard about it when he found out that Carrie Fisher had passed away. He went back to the drawing board and actually frantically started writing a reshoot on what he would be doing with her and her part. And so they're able to actually fit her unreleased footage into episode 9, which is kind of interesting. I mean, Mark Hamill too is technically, spoilers, passed away in the movie, not in real life, but in the movie. And so I mean, I can see him coming back as a Force ghost.
Yeah, I can see Obi-Wan, type.
Her maybe coming back as a Force ghost if they do some change up on her look. I mean, based on what she would be saying, and they would technically the footage, they can just cut it out so that she's in it.
She never passed away in the film, right?
No.
No, she never passed away.
So
she can't really be a Force ghost. I mean, that's how do you play into that? Like, are they going to give a whole like
she dies
synopsis?
Off screen. She dies off screen.
Yeah, and dies off screen, like in the opening credits.
Yeah.
Either that, or she's just going to be reporting from some base, speaking to them, and she's going to be one of those the holograms. You know, she talks to them.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's a good idea. That's like moving my Force Ghost into something more practical.
Yeah. Let's kill her off completely.
Yeah.
Let's look at that. She's done because she's,
kill both of them.
And
I mean, with what was it? Fast and Furious, 3,000 or whatever. I don't know what they're on now.
Number 17.
Number 1752.
Dominic's sons.
Paul Walker. They actually used his brothers.
Oh, that's his name.
Yeah. Paul. They used his brothers.
Is he a twin, or is he just?
No. They just used his brothers, and they just put his face over. Because I guess they had similar traits, and they would just put his face over, and then that's how they basically finished the film. Is with using CGI and utilizing that way. So I'm assuming they can at least get an actress that may look pretty similar to like her, but. Add in that CGI effect to her.
They did say that in the article that is not going to happen.
Really?
Yeah. They are not using any CGI. The only time they used CGI on Carrie Fisher was in Rogue One. They make her back to that A New Hope look.
Yeah, they make her younger, yeah.
But they promised to everyone who was a dedicated fan to Carrie Fisher that they are not going to try to CGI her in and make her,
Wow. Okay.
Right, like Tarkin from Rogue One, right? He's supposed to be around the same time as A New Hope, and so he has to have that older looking look, right? And so it was actually a completely different actor, and they just superimposed Tarkin's face or whatever his name is. I don't
know his name, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I mean, do you think they'll just input scenes of her and then just kind of do the whole mouth thing to where they just
have her own lines? I don't know. And if they're using old footage, it already sounds like she's speaking, she's talking. And so they're just going to be using those lines and crafting a story around it, which I think they can do. I mean, I think that's not going to be hard. I mean, because we don't know what the unreleased footage is.
True.
We don't know what she actually had to say. We don't know, you know what I mean, what Rian Johnson essentially had in the script. So,
but I mean, with that, you do know that she's going to take such a significantly small role to where she's really kind of just being like a cameo.
Yeah, they might even actually kill her off.
I mean, they may kill her off. They may just kind of lessen her role into it. They just might put her in.
I mean, I think they would lessen her role, but I don't know if they would. I mean, okay, I was the one that just said, "Oh yeah, they're going to kill her off before they even start the movie," but I don't know if they would do that. Now I'm backtracking here because it's like.
Well, that's true. I mean,
how do you kill off the last character of the whole? I mean, you can, but
they did, and then she fucking flew the fuck back into the damn spaceship.
Subject.
Like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah,
I think maybe they want to maybe they just put her in like they conceal her and protect her just because. What is it? The New Republic? What do they call themselves?
The First Order.
The First Order. They're the ones trying to get her, so she's in hiding, and that's kind of how they portray her character. And then
and she's giving commands.
She's giving commands, whatever snippet she comes in, and she's like, oh, so and so and so, and they dub her voice a little bit, and fix her lip movement just to make sure that it's all in sync. But I mean, if that's what she has to become, then what she has to become. But it goes to say that they're going to move on anyways.
Yeah,
they're trying to move on to the
right.
It's forcing them to move on to the next generation.
Exactly, and it's like Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra. You had they got older in Legend of Korra.
Anime alert.
They're all older.
Or actually, let him take that back before anybody kills me. Not anime.
It is anime.
It's American cartoons for the people who really love
it. Is anime. Fuck you. Fight me.
I don't give a fuck.
I'm on the border on this one.
I don't care.
I'm on the border of this one.
It's a cartoon, damn it.
I'm going to call it anime, and I'm going to continue talking. In Legend of Korra, they're all older, and so there's pretty much a line that says, "No, you guys are the younger generation. We pass on the mantle to you. You go save the world now." And that's what it almost seems like for this new Star Wars. It's like, okay, yeah, we're all old, and we can help you save the world, but we had to let you do it. You know, we're going to pass this on to you, and you guys figure out and make mistakes and, you know, learn from this and experience. Because that's the whole part of life and their life and everything.
Where do you think it's really going to go on in terms of just past this obviously this past movie? What was it, episode 8?
This last movie was episode 8.
Where do you think it's going to go from that point on?
Well, aren't they going to expand it?
They're definitely expanding it. So they're doing what Game of Thrones is doing.
They're literally just going to continue.
They're doing what Game of Thrones is doing, where this last 8th season is going to be it for Game of Thrones.
By the way, 2019 is almost here, guys. Almost here. That's when
it's coming. It is coming.
I'm ready for. Is it supposed to be in January or
no? I think it's supposed to be like summer.
Fudge.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like summer. I could be wrong.
We still have another year, guys, for Game of Thrones.
Whole year.
We're gonna do a podcast on just.
I promise you here. If it was supposed to be in January, I think it would have been at Comic-Con. It would have been.
It would have been.
Oh yeah.
Where I think they're waiting till the summer, and it's going to be a big, heavy thing at Comic-Con next year, for sure.
We could talk about Game of Thrones all day, but back to Star Wars. So we really could.
I think that they're doing what Game of Thrones is doing, where they're having these extra kind of expanded universe stories. Rian Johnson himself is actually doing a trilogy of his own making of an expanded story, so it's out in the different part of the universe or solar system or whatever it is.
In concerns of what?
In concerns of just within the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Well, because they're making everything now that Disney's taken over Star Wars. They're trying to start their own thing. So everything you said was what do they call it? Cannibal?
No, canon. Cannibal.
Not the right.
Hannibal
word.
Lecter.
They do eat people. Disney, watch out.
Hannibal Lecter, the newest Jedi.
Sad
the newest Jedi.
So all that's canon. So
uses a lightsaber to slice off a piece of skin.
I just wonder what,
jerky.
Right?
Eats it right off the lightsaber. As it sizzles, it gets a nice little tenderness on the outside.
It's seared. Seared.
Seared.
I mean, where do you think they kind of go from here? Like
fava beans. Yeah. I think they have nowhere to go but out. That's what I mean. I think they're just expanding, and they're just okay. Here's another character that's all new, and I mean, Solo flopped.
It did,
right?
I still to this day
I haven't watched it either. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah. How was it?
But you said it was good.
It was good.
It was good.
It was good. I expected worse, right? I came in going, it's gonna be stupid. Right? Like I see the trailers, this is gonna be dumb. But I actually watch it, and I'm like, oh. Actually, that surprised me. That was actually pretty good.
That's how I come into Fast and Furious movies.
That's what you
do a whole wraparound.
But the last bit of news on that article is Lando Calrissian is coming back.
Yes, Childish Gambino himself.
So nope, Billy D. Williams is reprising his role as Lando Calrissian.
Are you serious?
In Episode 9. See, I'm so glad that I left this for them.
What?
What?
Yes. Reactions. Love it. Yes, he is. He's totally coming back, and they wrote him into the script.
No way.
I don't know if this is actually like we're listening to you, people of the Star Wars culture. How much you guys wanted him to come back. I just think they went, okay, 7, Harrison Ford, right? Mm-hmm. Small part of Carrie Fisher. 8, Carrie Fisher, right? Yeah. Mark Hamill. Like, Mark Hamill... Gone, right? Goes into the little force...
What are they... Force
existence.
Yeah.
What's the Flash called? The what do they call it?
Oh, you're talking about the...
alternate, like...
The Speed Force.
The Speed Force.
Yeah.
That's what I think of as soon as they say it. They go into like the Speed Force.
Speed Force.
The Force.
Yeah, he's gonna come back as the Reverse Flash. That's what he's gonna do. He'll be Reverse Luke.
Reverse Luke. Anti-Luke.
Yeah.
Nega Luke.
So that's why I feel like they already had that kind of going on with okay, 9 is going to be Lando Calrissian now. You know what I mean? And so I feel like we're going to actually go see Cloud City, and if that's going to be visited, you know what I mean? Or at least maybe he's moved on to a different planet, and he's like, okay, now taken over this one and I'm enjoying this one. Because that's what he did. He like pretty much, at least that's what I think, he not owned, but like he was a major part of Cloud City. And that's why, Vader looked after him to, okay, go get Han, bring him to me, and tell me when he does, kind of thing. Call me when he does. And so I wonder what they're going to do in the script of how, you see some guilt in the original movies, a little bit of guilt, right? From Lando for giving up Han. But I just wonder now that, like, it's you're going to find out that Han's, been killed by his like son. Spoilers, and
spoilers.
And then
they're like, I'm not sure that's how it works. You say that beforehand.
But it's like I want to see that. I want to see that kind of touched on in the script. That there's going to be some form of like he finds out that he's dead and be like, shit, like I wanted to do as much as I could for him, or maybe like there's like a flashback,
sense of remorse or something.
Yeah, or maybe there's a flashback where it shows him as like kind of I did something for Han, and we even see then Harrison Ford because if it's a flashback, we can see them working together again, and there's that kind of a apology, that kind of
I feel like with the passing of Carrie Fisher, you do have to kind of bring back a megastar like Harrison Ford. Just to kind of. It's hard to bring back like Carrie Fisher. It's like if you can now, it's like a way to bring back Harrison Ford, so that way people can, kind of relate to that person at least.
In a flashback, you mean?
Yeah, in a flashback. In that sense. I mean, Harrison Ford is obviously.
I kind of feel like they're bringing him back because they pissed off a lot of people.
Bringing back Lando.
They're bringing back Lando because they pissed off so many people of how they ended with Han Solo.
Right.
So now they're kind of trying to win people over because.
Well,
they lost
Don
so
did a
many.
Great job. I mean, there was one part. You guys got to watch it. I mean, there was one part where I was kind of like, I didn't like that scene.
From him?
From Solo. From him. From
Donald
Solo.
Glover?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one part, and you guys will probably agree with me when you guys watch it, but so we'll have another discussion when they do.
Right.
But yeah, so there was that one part, but everything else, I mean, he was great. He was like charismatic. He just had that, and it was almost like he showed Han how to be that kind of like cocky attitude type of thing. You know what I mean? And so it's like, it's so cool. It's like kind of like now it's like an origin story of like, this is where Han got his shit. Yeah,
Yeah. Really derived from him,
and then the ending was actually really good. Like I really enjoyed the ending a lot.
There's a spoiler in it, right? I think the
whole thing's a spoiler.
Okay.
I'm not going to spoil it now because
I got to watch it. But we got to sit down with a popcorn and just.
We're going to need to watch it.
I do.
There is a spoiler at the end. There's that kind of like
spoiler as in it links
like
to what's going to happen.
Oh, it's kind of like the Easter egg type of thing, right?
Don't tell me it was a stupid dice.
No.
It
was something completely different. Nothing, and that's what pissed me off.
I know.
What?
Nothing.
Dice.
I mean, like you see it in Last Jedi where he's like, I got this dice, and I'm gonna give it to Leia, and like, okay, you remember Han, and it's like, and so they made that such a big deal that it was like, it's because it's gonna be a big thing in Solo, and then you watch Solo, and it's like, it's just a good luck charm, just a fucking good luck charm. It's stupid.
Spoiler alerts.
Like they didn't. Even, that I kind of had that feeling because. When I watched that scene, I was like, I watched every movie. I like it. I'm not the biggest fan of Star Wars. So when I watched it, I was just like, okay, did I miss something? Like, I know I watched all the movies. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I didn't miss that. I'm like,
well, because it's such a small little part in the original. Like, you barely see it up on the top.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And I think Ryan Johnson had that, like, I'm just going to kind of take something from the original and try to, like, show that it's like still like concurrent with what's going on in the story and make something more out of what is just a nice little prop kind of thing. But I just wish that there was more significance in the dice.
I mean, with them continuing on the expanded universe, do you think Star Wars is actually going to have a platform to continue after this? I mean, say because our generation. We're at a generation to where we're in that middle between. Like, half of us watched it and we're really into it. Half of us didn't.
That's the point. I think that's the point with what Disney's doing. They're literally just ending what was to be able to pull out what they're gonna make money off of.
They're gonna attract a new audience.
All they care about is money anyway. Don't get me wrong.
But yeah, it's about money.
It is.
Yeah, so like
sure
literally, they're just
money.
gonna make another 6-7 movies again.
But I think they're
8
smart.
movies?
They're smart in the fact that like it's about money, yes, but it's also about how can you entertain. And I think they learned that because of Solo, right? They were just assuming we can make any Star Wars movie and these motherfuckers are going to go watch.
They're going to go watch it.
Right?
Yep.
That thing fucking flops like crazy. And
you said it wasn't a bad movie.
2 out of 3 people on this podcast
did not watch it.
Did not watch it at all, right? And it's already been out for a while. So you're already kind of past that whole...
original series and original what is it, the original trilogy. I mean, I feel like that whole generation is kind of just dwindling now. I mean, it's kind of just going.
I think it's stronger, and I think it's stronger, but they're more critical. I almost said we. I'm not part of that, but they're more critical of the things that are going on. They're the ones that are actually vocal about that shit that's happening, and I think that's what they learned. It's like the Disney was like, okay, well, we kind of fucked up on Solo. Let's. I know it is about money. We have to continue making money, so let's make sure we have. We have to make sure it's creative, and I hope that's what we see in the future Star Wars franchise,
right.
The expanded series plus the actual episodic kind of ones.
Because now Disney has to be so creative to where not only do they attract an old audience, but they have to attract a new audience. To where there's generations that have never seen the trilogies of Star Wars. Like, oh, Star Wars, that's old science fiction. That's old stuff.
I'm not gonna watch a '70s movie.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch a '70s movie. It's like, oh, the CGI, oh my god, no, type of stuff. It's just like they're not gonna watch it. But if you can actually get them entertained by this series and be like, all right, we're doing this whole new thing, so that way you can be interested in everything that we've done before.
Yep.
I think that's going to be the hardest get for them to really kind of just continue on and making movies and making series that's going to attract the audience today.
Yeah. No, I think that's what I like about Star Wars is the fact that it came out in the 70s and the 80s. And so it had that generation.
It does.
Right? And then it came out in the late 90s, 2000s. And it has that generation, and now it's coming out in the 2000, almost 20s, right?
Yeah.
Where it has that generation. So it's very generational, multi-generational to the fact that like the people who enjoyed it in the 70s, they're going to continue watching it. The people who enjoyed it, who enjoyed those prequel Anakin story, they're going to enjoy and continue watching it.
I mean,
and then the new
kids
kids
really enjoy the prequel Anakin story.
There are people who are diehard on that shit.
Darth Maul was definitely a plus. Like, I wish they kind of brought back Darth Maul.
In that one movie, yes, in that one prequel movie.
That one prequel, Darth Maul was bad as shit, and then he died. They killed him off. And then
he came back in the Clone Wars.
In the Clone Wars, he came back.
Yeah.
But I mean,
back by popular demand.
Yeah.
We gave him spider legs.
I
mean, pretty bad.
So there's that multi-generation where it's like you have all the people from the 70s still watching it, or the people who grew up on that in that original trilogy. You have the people who grew up on the prequel trilogy, and then you have these new kids who are coming in, and that's why I like that it was 7 and 8. They changed it up. They made it a little. They made it more towards like this modern type of like kids these days are going to enjoy it. Yeah, for sure. And that's because that's the movement of how movies are evolving and changing. It has to always kind of fit this generation.
Yeah.
You can't have an old looking movie. I mean, every now and then one slips by, like The Artist, which is that silent film, black and white, right? But that's just like one of those one-offs that are like, oh, it's so nostalgic, But I mean, you don't go back to that. Like, you don't continue. Like, there wasn't more silent movies.
That was just for more artistry and stuff like that, and really kind of just going to the art of that but
oh, my hat's gone.
It is. I was going to talk about that, but
When I realized you didn't have a hat, I was like, I'm going backwards.
Yeah, he went backwards. And now we have the switch because it was very symmetrical. You had yours forward. We had both of ours back.
I'm just curious.
We planned this, by the way.
No, we didn't.
We literally spent 3 hours figuring out what we're gonna wear.
And then he woke up, and then we started recording.
And then I woke up.
I decided, fuck everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just interested to see on how it kind of just goes on and further branches off from this point on. And
I'm really like excited to see what they're gonna start the next trilogy off with. If it's gonna be those kids, like, you know, they show that kid, right. They show that kid that had like the force, so he grabbed the broom or whatever.
Oh right, yeah.
If they're gonna start off with Jedi's just all over the world, all over the galaxy,
starting to kind of form their powers, and then some of them turn bad, some turn good, and so it starts that kind of cycle over again.
Yeah, or if it's gonna be like, they're gonna be recruiting and they're gonna come and pick the good ones, and then I don't know what they're gonna do to the bad ones. I don't know what they do to them. But
do you guys know if Adam Driver's contract is past this 3 years? Like all these actors, like, do you know?
I don't know if they. I don't know anything about their contracts, and I don't even know if they even have one, or if it's something that's like, hey, the next movie, are you going to be in it, type of thing.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming if they're gonna do a trilogy, they're actually gonna do a 3-year contract with the actor.
A 3-movie contract.
Yeah, a 3-movie contract, because they work in trilogies. They've never done just, you know. This is the first time we started seeing just one and done movies with Rogue One, with Han Solo,
and I like that. I like it.
I think that's a great concept. Rogue One, I thought was great.
I like it because it's one of those in betweens. You know, it's like, hey, let's set up a movie, and I think that's what they're kind of doing with Rian Johnson's trilogy, is that they're going to have in between the episodic ones. So you kind of get like, now you have like Star Wars every year. You know what I mean? Like that would be insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would be too much. I feel like Star Wars every year would be a little too much.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask that. How much is too much for you guys?
I mean,
at this point, if you think about it, like, Star Wars in and of itself is already, well, at least the 3 sets of trilogies is 9 movies.
Yeah.
That's already a lot.
Yeah.
Especially because you have to watch them all to
But
really get
it
the whole
is
story.
within the span of like 30 to 40 years.
That's my point. But the fact that now, like, even if someone says you have to watch Star Wars, you have to watch the original 3.
To understand who Luke is, to understand who Darth Vader is, and
regardless of what sequence you watch it in, whether you watch the prequels, then the originals, and then the new ones, or if you watch it the original way, which is what the original 3, then the prequels, and then the new ones. But as far as like the new ones are going to come out, I think you're right. I think they're gonna just like keep hammering until.
What do you guys think about a remastered version of the original trilogy?
Like a reboot? Like a reboot? That would be terrible.
You think so?
Yes. Because
I mean, how do you do that? Like, how do you remake that Star Wars?
Don't get me wrong. Let's face the facts here. There's going to be a reboot of Harry Potter one of these days.
You think
you
so?
never know.
How long has it been since the first one came out? Like 15 years?
Like,
yeah.
You can't.
I think so. Yeah.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
You can't reboot Lord of the Rings. Like, you cannot.
Oh, you can.
You can.
I mean, that's the thing.
There's a
will be
5-year Amazon contract right now where they're doing like a prequel of Lord of the Rings, where they're going to have Aragorn's story.
Yeah.
You know, that whole thing that's going to be in the Middle Earth.
Yeah.
It's just I know that. Okay, so there's constant reboots, right? With Mr. and Mrs. Smith, right? That was a full on reboot. There's reboots all over Hollywood where they take these old 50-year-old movies. So what I see in the future is you know, maybe 20 years, 30 years down the line, Harry Potter starts dwindling, and it's like, okay, let's do a whole new Harry Potter. Let's do a whole new set of movies.
But
make it a TV series.
How often does that work out?
Well, I mean, if it's all for money, like we said.
Yeah, it's all for money, but I mean,
you have executive producers going, okay, this was a multi-billion-dollar industry,
and it was
Potter.
Kids, and it's kids, so
and
it's always going to have kids.
I mean, initially, it's going to be great, but who's going to really watch like the new school Ghostbusters and watch part 2? Who's going to watch that? I didn't even watch 1.
Kids. We didn't watch
I mean, we didn't watch it, but
watch
I mean, it wasn't grossed very high either. I mean, like, it wasn't grossed enough for them to actually produce another series to it.
Yeah.
They're not going to do a whole new series, because if you're really thinking about money makers, initially it did okay, you know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you want to make money off of it and be able to expand to that 3-part series. And I think that's going to be really hard to do if it's just not done correctly. Like, how many reboots have you seen that are done correctly? Like, Blade Runner was supposed to be kind of like a reboot with Ryan Gosling. Did you ever watch it?
No, it wasn't a reboot. It was a full-on sequel.
It was a full-on sequel.
Yeah, it was a full-on sequel.
Did you even watch it?
No, I didn't watch it.
No, you didn't watch it.
I want to watch it.
I didn't watch it.
I mean, I have slight interest in watching it, but at the same time, it's kind of just...
Yeah.
It's...
So what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. What do you think? Where is Star Wars going? What do you think about a reboot of the original trilogies, or even a reboot of one of your favorite franchises that already has a set of movies going? Where do you see that down the line? What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below. Smash that like button. Subscribe. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
I've been Mikereative.
Javi.
Vince.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.